John Doolan, before we dissect today's game of football, you lost Conor O'Brien on a stretcher in the first half of that game. There was a huge amount of concern for him, 15-minute stoppage nearly. The most important thing is he okay? What's the situation?
Yeah, well, when we got in to see him at half-time, he was talking, so, you know, we just took him off to hospital, just as a precaution, like, to make sure that he is fine.
Yeah, with a head neck injury like that, they don't take any chances.
No, you can't. You know, he's won the header and then he's just sort of landed. I'd seen him when he had it clearly, and I was watching where the ball went, but I didn't see him actually fall. So look, you know, as I said, you've got to look after the player first and foremost. And Conor's a fit and strong lad, you know. So as I said, we'll get the results, if you like, of whatever he has next to the hospital.
Yeah, well-being of the players, most important thing, of course. 100%. As far as the football's concerned, you've taken a point in a game that you led, but with some pretty adverse circumstances. How are you feeling about the performance?
Dogged, resilient. Again, just everyone stuck together. They were really, really good, I thought, Cambridge. I know we played them at their place, but they've improved. I think probably the best team, if you like, that have come here to play against us. And I know, again, what you've said about the lads going off and the substitution we've made and the lads that are on the side suspended and injured. It's difficult, but I want to talk about the lads that are on the pitch. And the lads on the pitch were dogged. Faren Rosson was immense at the back. Devon Matthews, Freddie. So, you know, they all dug in. You had Conor Grant in there. You had, you know, Luke Butterfield. And we had to change it around, bringing Seamus on and early doors, which wasn't the plan really. But, you know, they give everything. And the thing about that is, you know, you've only got one substitute then. And then you're waiting for maybe something else to happen. So, you know, you're trying to ask lads like Big David and you know, Paddy and Sean Morley had to go and dip in at right wing back for us. You know, whether they're going to blow up. So you're thinking about making 3 substitutions all at once. But then you're hanging on to what you've got. So we made one at the end. So, you know, that was just the way it is.
How big a factor is that in that second half? Just the physical load that's being put on players and how difficult it is, particularly with losing 2 in the first half. Is that part of the way the game went, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's just tough. The demand's tough. The league's tough. So you play Saturday, Tuesday. You know, this was Saturday. So it is tough, but that's what your job is. So you've got to be at certain, you know, levels of fitness. And the lads have been like that. But as I said, you can't replicate that unless you're playing games. The lads have played games continuously Saturday, Tuesday. But obviously what I've just spoke about them. But the demands are there for everyone to see. And there's no hiding places out there when you play, no matter what formation you're up against. It's an individual battle against whoever you're playing against. And the lads give everything today. Really proud of getting a point at least, because that's what that performance in terms of the defensive performance warranted. Yeah, you'd be slightly disappointed, but they're a good side, and they're sitting in the automatic playoffs for a reason.
Stats can be taken funny ways, can't they? You've had 24% possession, I think, but you've only given away 3 shots on target on your goal. Does that say a lot about how well they defended?
It does, exactly that. But, you know, I've spoken about possession, stats, all this and that. Doesn't matter. The result is the thing that matters. If you win 1-0, you get 3 points. If you draw, you know, like we did today, you're getting a point. So you can look at the stats. The stats will make you feel better if you've lost the game, to say, oh, look at all the possession we had, look at the shots we had. But then someone will dissect it negatively and say, well, yeah, we missed the target, and you'll ask me, or, you know, all the chances that you created, you didn't put them all in. So there's always like the pros and cons of it all. So at the end of the day is to put a team out there, and the lads put an unbelievable shift in against a very, very good side. Neil's got the lads playing really, really well, sitting where they are in the league, and we stood up to everything there.
By his own admission, Faren Rosson doesn't score enough goals, does he, for Accrington? But he was in the right place, right time. It was sort of a centre-forwards goal, wasn't it? It
was brilliant. You know, and funny enough, we actually spoke about it yesterday. So Jeb Brannan does all the set plays, and me and Faz just happened to be together walking up the steps. And I said, it's about time you scored a goal from a set play. Obviously, it was a second phase, I think it was. But yeah, I'm just so delighted for him because, as I said, he wins that many headers defensively, and he gets on the end of things in the other box attacking. And great for us that it's gone in today.
We started talking about Conor O'Brien, who you lost. You lost Isaac Heath as well, who's been such an important player for you. What's the situation with him, and how well did you adjust to losing that outlet on the left-hand side?
Yeah, you know, we know what Isaac brings for us. You know, in terms of his injury, I think he's just rolled his ankle slightly. He felt like he couldn't carry on, so we put a replacement on in Charlie Brown, and I thought Charlie put a good shift in for the team there. You know, he was up against it was Brophy, and I thought he stood up to the challenge defensively. Done really, really well. And I think, well, not I don't. I think I know Isaac's. He's gone to hospital as well for little X-ray, so we'll see how that is as well.
You've played first and second, away and home in the space of 7 days. How much have you learnt in the last week about your players?
Well, massive. So I know that they'll fight for this club and fight for the badge and fight for the fans. So you can see that, and it was evident. And you could be a little bit down because you're winning 1-0, but you've got to take it into perspective in terms of what the lads are giving, what's out there and what's not on the pitch as well.